All
Oh,
right.
hey, look at that! I've got a camera.
Yay! The
Woo!
camera's working. Hangouts is working. Things are working now. Yeah, I wanted to start later because I didn't really want like side quest was going on. I'm just like, I want to watch side quests, and also I don't want to compete with side quests.
I was watching. I was watching Netflix shit. I did my sketch today, which I think was a little bit lackluster as far as effort goes. Um, though Garfield is weirdly specific in his design. I gotta say.
Yeah, I thought it was fun, fucking funny. It was great.
What were you watching on Netflix?
God.
Oh, I was watching this thing called. Oh my god. Oh, Crazy Head. Crazy Head. It's this British sort of like imagine if Supernatural had two female hipster leads.
Oh my god, yes.
And it was actually very good.
It's
It was
really
very good.
fucking good.
It's really good.
I was expecting it to be complete garbage, but I'm just like at the end I'm just like, wait, no, it's a series. It's over? No.
Mm-hmm.
It's
was
so
really good. It was really good. And it's funny is like I identified with, as far as all the characters in the show, I identified with most the black girl on the show who is supposed to be sort of the odd duck and all this other sort of like stuff that I think anti-SJWs would key in on her and be like, this is the character that shouldn't be here. Is the character I identified with the most.
Yeah, I liked her too.
I loved her. I identified with her. It's just like every experience she had as being both a weirdo and someone who can't help but being direct and like all these other sorts of things. I fucking loved it. And she's super politically incorrect too, which I suspect some people would overlook.
Yeah, she's definitely not like SJWE. She's just like the weird kid.
Yeah, total. Like they even cast somebody who looks in between being like, yeah, she's got like she's attractive, but she's got more charisma than physical attractiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And like all that kind of stuff. Like that's something you actually get rare in casting on television. They either like this person's ugly because they're evil and this person's pretty because they're good.
No, but yeah, she's a fantastic actress.
It was great. Fucking great show. I loved it. I watched the last 3 episodes tonight because I was like, I can't do anything. I'm lame. I don't know. I've been out of sorts for about a week. And yeah, you know, but roller coasters.
Yes, I went to Six Flags yesterday, and I forgot how much I liked them. There's 3 new ones in the park, so my boss who took us actually got a stack of those fast passes, like the ADA passes, from a friend. He just handed him a bunch, so we got to skip the line on all of the giant coasters. And it was the best.
Yeah, I haven't been to, that was actually the last time, no, yeah, it was 25, 26 years ago. When I was a kid and I lived in a group home in Davenport, we went and we passed, and here's the funny thing about it was, I remember having a Sony cassette player, and all I listened to the whole trip there, the whole trip back, was Metallica's Master of Puppets. And we drove off through the outskirts of Rochelle, Illinois, on the way there. And I said, if I ever have a kid, I'm going to name her that. Whoops, that didn't happen. I named her Brandy. Sorry. And that was the last time I went to a roller coaster. And again, because I suffer from vertigo, I didn't go on the roller coaster, but I went on everything else and had a blast. It was fun. But it was the fact that when we went there, and it's how we got there, I don't know if we went around Chicago or through one of the suburbs, but traffic sucked.
You went to Gurnee, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I went. That's the same park.
And the traffic
Failure.
sucked ass.
How you doing, Failure? Hey.
So the traffic sucked ass, and that was all there was to it. I had a good time otherwise, but I didn't go on the roller coasters because I suffer from vertigo.
Last time I was on a roller coaster was at this local fair called Valley Fair. That's pretty much like a Six Flags without the branding. And I went on a really nice, modern, newer roller coaster right in the front seat, and I was a little bit freaked out. because I hadn't been on a roller coaster since my early 20s. So like literally like 20 years since I've been on a roller coaster. I'm old. But then like I went on this older roller coaster that felt rickety, and I was afraid like the actual unit I was in was gonna fly off. It was so rickety and shaky and fucked up. And just like a year later, I ended up reading about a guy who died because that actually happened at a Six Flags, where like this older, I don't remember which one. This is like 2 years ago was when I probably read the article, but this guy flew off, or the chair flew off the whatever the unit that he was in flew off of the actual seat of the tracks, and the guy died. And I was like, that could have been me.
Yeah. 2 people have died at the Great America that I've been in. Both of them unrelated to the, well, I mean, tangentially related to the ride. They were killed on or by the ride. So the first one was a brain embolism, which has absolutely nothing to do.
Blame the roller coaster for that.
No, her parents sued and they lost.
Well, of course, duh.
And then the second one was he climbed into the he climbed over the fence into the area where the demon is running, which is like one of the older upside down coasters, and got decapitated by it to get his hat.
Oh.
There's a Dead Milkman song about that. The guy's talking about his son. Junior was a daredevil. It said, keep your arms and head inside the coaster, but he was a daredevil.
He was old.
Decapitated.
You are old because you're like the only person I've heard in ages mention the Dead Milkmen.
I fucking love the Dead Milkmen. I used to go see them constantly. One of my dreams is they do Halloween shows in Philadelphia all the time, and I would just love to go down there to see one of their Halloween shows. But I fucking love the Dead Milkmen. They're so fucking good.
But you know people are fucking stupid when you have to tell them not to use selfie sticks on the roller coaster.
Well, you know, no, because that automatically means that's a challenge accepted situation. We know it's not, but they think it is.
That's an interesting
creature. Allow them in the park. Security will take them away from you.
As a fat guy, it's been a while since I've been on a roller coaster, but the ones I hated always, because since I was like 12, I was 6'2", I hated the ones where your legs hung down. Those fucking type of roller coasters where you're just strapped in. You were
hitting shit all the time, weren't you?
I hated I don't like those either, but for the opposite reason. I was a really skinny kid, so like the year that I was tall enough, I went on the Batman as my first upside down coaster. That shit didn't latch all the way. I swear to God.
No, I've always been fine as far as size goes, because I'm short, but I'm dense. So like, I'm like 5'8", but
when I graduated,
I hate anything.
Sorry.
Oh no, I'm just saying I hate anything where my legs are dangling because I feel like I'm gonna clip something.
Well, that's what I was wondering. That's what I was wondering. When you were on those roller coasters, did you actually hit anything? Did you actually? Did you actually end up having your feet slap against stuff and freak you out?
Right?
No, but there was like the feeling like any minute you would just lose a foot and just fucking hit it against random.
But that's the best part.
I've never
what, to think that you're going to be gimped?
Yes!
Oh, screw you, kid.
Hobbled. Gonna get the misery treatment. Gonna get hobbled.
No. Yes. Remember, guys, she's the only one in here who is not large.
This is true. Well, I didn't know that about you, but...
Well, I'm the only one that's 5'9" in here.
Mm.
I'm 5'8". I think Brian's about 5'8", 5'9".
I'm 5'8". I was gonna say he's an inch taller than me.
So Brian and I are the same height, and he weighs about 40 pounds more than me. Yeah. And yeah.
Hey, my husband's 6'2", and he likes roller coasters, so.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but he's not here to defend himself, so
He's not here to represent. He's not here to carry water for those people.
No, but there's actually one in the park called X-Force, and it's supposed to kind of mimic the feeling of being in a jet plane, and that thing comes so close to that tower.
Oh, wow. Jesus.
It goes through the tower, and it kind of feels like you're about to lose your head or something. But it's fun.
What's the tower?
They have like a fake flight tower that it flies through.
Like a mission control tower?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Huh.
You know what I hate? I hate people that are on rides and are like crying for it to be like turned off for them.
Yep.
And usually like roller coasters that won't happen with, but like those rides where like it's like the spinning thing and it's usually in the same area. I've had it before where fucking, you know, somebody has yelled so much where the person has had to fucking, you know, shut down the ride
You're
early.
talking about like the pirate ship or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
the pirate ship.
Yeah, I love the pirate ship. See, the thing is, I can do pirate ship, and I can do the what is it, the one where it's like gravity, where you like get flung out to the edges, and then you have to like pretend to stand up and work
Yeah.
against this.
Well, there's one also that it's like an arm and you're just hanging.
Yeah.
And it
Yep.
just-
Yeah, that's like the pirate ship is the one, the arm. I
must
love
be
those
the-
rides a lot
I
more
must be the
than
biggest pansy
roller
here because I can only handle the log ride, which in a way is kind of like a roller coaster, but I think the water for me mentally makes a difference.
I hate the log ride. Yeah.
Oh, get the fuck
Thanks.
out of here.
I hate the log ride because I don't want to get wet.
Then my underwear, and your underwear never dries, and then you have wet underwear for the rest of the day at the park.
And you smell like chlorine, and
Yes.
I have a higher sensitivity to chlorine where like my skin starts blotching red and all this other weird shit.
You just get itchy.
Oh. See, that's kind of the thing. I don't have a problem with chlorine. I swim every other day about 2 miles in at the local Y, so for me,
Wow.
chlorine's not a big hoop to do. Which again, I think psychologically for me is like, this is the reason why I can't stand, you know, a roller coaster because I have vertigo. But if I'm on a log ride, it can do similar things. But I think the water mentally for me, you know,
Whoa, what was that
visually
noise?
represents the safety net, but you know, it's still the thing that it really does go up and then goes, you know, and there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But just not as the fastest speed or even around the corners that a roller coaster does.
The flum.
Pretty much. And whenever they take the pictures, I give them the middle finger, and then I'm giving the middle finger, and I'm asked to leave
Yes.
Edgy, very edgy.
because I'm immature and I don't give a shit.
Yeah, they're not allowed to sell those pictures. My friend works at the park. She's like, yeah, we can't sell those pictures. They make us erase them.
With the middle fingers.
She's like, you'd be surprised the number of people that like just like flash the camera on Raging Bull. I'm just like, so she's like, it's never the people you want to flash. Camera.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah, no,
some
it's
big
me.
old hairy. Yeah, it's that big freaking hairy ace with the man boobs.
It's always me.
I was thinking about some skinny white trash chick with the tits that would just flop over her shoulder as the wind makes them go
You mean
crazy. Like disgusting Ren and Stimpy style animation. Like
The mournful tits. The ones you're
Talking
going to
about-
put in a casket and bury.
Talking about pictures, one thing I find weird is like those places that already like print out a picture, expecting you to like pay like $15 for it.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I've never
uh,
encountered this.
Oh,
Like,
you
I've
haven't
never
been in
I-
a park for a
yeah.
while. They're not $15 anymore. They're like
no,
30.
but yeah, usually it's like on cruise ships as well. Like they'll be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, here's the picture when you got on the cruise ship. Here, you want to buy it? $50."
Like, I didn't ask for that. What the hell?
Yeah, but the thing is, most people say no, so that means there's a pile of just fucking random people, just like
Yeah, you know,
That's a
there's
weird
that
thought.
one-
I'd start drawing faces on people and doing weird shit with them.
I was gonna say, you know, there's that one cruise employee that collects them all and jerks
Oh.
off to them at night.
Oh,
Well,
it'd be
at
fucking-
least they're not at least they're not going Robin Williams 1 hour photo and shit.
that
Yeah,
movie's awesome.
That's true.
Well,
yeah,
I've never
It's a
seen
good
one of
movie,
those
but that's
photos
still
again.
freaking scary.
Yeah. So good. Such a good movie.
my favorite part is his daydream of being inside the house and them getting home.
You know, see,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Well,
I'm not
it's,
trying to
it,
derail the
it's a great
subject.
bait and switch too.
It's
I'm
fine.
not trying to derail the subject from amusement parks, but I can't stomach that movie yet. I can totally watch any day of the week. I can watch What Dreams May Come, and that's a psychological mind screw.
I hate that movie. I feel like it's a treacle piece of shit for people who are like who need their handheld and wear
Never seen it.
diapers and through life. And oh god, I hate that movie. It's so,
Thanks,
so
I appreciate that.
top 3 Robin Williams movies for me: World's Greatest Dad, Popeye, and 1 Hour Photo.
What, no
And then-
flubber?
Fuck Flubber. And then
Flubber,
Fisher King.
wow.
Fisher King's up there too. Fisher King's up there too, but
I
it's
love
not
Fisher King.
related. Fisher King's
I'm gonna
amazing.
have to go with Popeye, Goodwill Hunting, and anything Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy. I haven't watched it since I was a child, so
Nope.
What I've never seen is Good Morning Vietnam. I've been wanting to see that. I've
That's
never
number
seen.
4 on my list, but
It's
we were
okay.
saying top 3.
It's okay. I would say the weird thing about Good Morning Vietnam is how much they changed from the real story of the guy that it's about.
Mhm.
They made it
The same thing
far
with
more
Patch
sensational.
Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Patch Adams
and
sucks.
he got
He's
pissed.
terrible.
Yeah, he
Oh.
got Patch Adams. The real Patch Adams got pissed. And I said, "Yeah, I'd get mad too."
That usually happens with a bunch of people. Like the Sully movie, it was like none of that happened. They did an investigation. It was over in fucking 5 minutes. And like, but that doesn't make a movie. That doesn't make a fucking
That
tense.
doesn't
like,
turn out dramatic. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm surprised
There's
nobody mentioned Dead Poet Society.
I watched Dead Poet Society way too many times in high school because I hung out with all art fags. So I was like,
You're
I was
immune.
like Dead Poet Society is background noise to me.
Ah.
That's all it is to me. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just it's like somebody playing a top 40 radio station with all oldies that are not remarkable. Like not remarkable oldies. Like not Little Richard or Del Shannon, but like things you forget.
But I think we're forgetting Toys. Remember
Nope.
Toys with LL Cool J?
I'm trying to forget. I'm trying to forget
I've
both
never
Toys
seen
and
that.
Hook.
Can I forget that too?
Yeah.
Hey, I like Toys.
I forgot about it.
Wait.
I have to look this up.
Because
What
I
was wrong
forgot
with-
about it until you mentioned it.
What was wrong with Hook? What did
Hook's
you hate about it?
lame. Hook is
He
so
is
lame.
Oh,
What Hook is, if you watch Hook, right after watching Beyond Thunderdome, you realize that Hook is a retelling of Beyond Thunderdome for little babies.
So does that
suburban
mean
moms.
Rufio is
It's like
Mad
that-
Max?
Yeah,
That
no.
should be-
Robin Williams is Mad Max, and that's sad.
Okay, you're always
that's
looking
even
for inspiration for a video. Make a really short, like don't make a fucking half-hour video. Just make a real quick fucking 4-minute video on why Hook is Mad Max for kids.
yes, please do that
Yes.
one.
They even recreate
Oh
this.
my God.
So there, I don't know if you remember Thunderdome very much, but there's a scene where
I like Thunderdome.
where Mad Max shows up in the little oasis where all the kids live that are waiting for Captain Walker to show back up and all this shit. And there's this literal like beat per beat action sequence where Mel Gibson as Mad Max wakes up. He has a tether tied to his foot. He gets drug over some open water, and somebody cuts him down, and he lands in the water, and then everyone chants at him. The exact same thing happens shot for shot in Hook.
It does. With
Huh.
the lost voice.
Yep. That is
Oh,
true.
wow.
Done.
I
You
didn't think of
keep
that.
this in your mind. Just make that video, man. Make that.
It's ridiculous.
Make-
Yeah,
make
I
it
might.
3 minutes.
I might.
Make it short.
Do
Make
it,
it
do
short.
it, do
Don't-
it, do
don't-
it. Do it.
What about Moscow on the Hudson?
Never saw
Am
that
I the
one.
only one that remembers that?
Never saw it.
I've seen a lot of his movies, so I remember weird shit like Jacob the Liar, Moscow on the Hudson, when
I've
earlier
seen
stuff.
Jacob the Liar.
And I really do like Bicentennial Man for as much as
I like it. I like
it.
is.
I like that movie.
It's
You
great.
didn't?
I haven't seen it. I'm a
I-
baby. I'm the baby of this stream.
I take science fiction too seriously in a way where like Bicentennial Man just felt like it was more about feelings than it was about treating the idea of an android with an artificial intelligence as something that was realistic.
Yeah, at least
So
it
you were
was
looking
better
for
than
more
AI.
Lieutenant
Yeah,
Commander Data.
way better than AI.
Yeah.
Wasn't
AI
he also
sucked
an
too.
AI? Wasn't he also
That,
an
you know,
AI?
AI was a no-win scenario.
Yep.
Yeah, because Kubrick died while it was being
Yeah.
made.
Yeah,
It would have been
and,
a far
and
different
Kubrick
movie.
and Spielberg, being such good friends, thought that each of the other could do it better than they could. And it's kind of like, well, shit.
But the thing is Kubrick is far more cynical than Spielberg, and it's just.
Who did cameos in AI? I know there was a couple big names that.
I remember Jude Law was in it, and then there was that kid from Sixth
The
Sense.
Chris
That's all I
Rock,
remember.
the Chris Rock bot that got shot out of a cannon, like we needed that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Wow.
Unnecessary as fuck.
Yeah. And that whole end, like 3 endings with aliens and other shit, I was just like, what? No.
Well, see,
No.
if it would have stopped right as he was freezing and seeing the blue fairy, that would have been great. But
That would have been great. Credits roll. Done.
lo and behold, it was actually meant that he saw the alien stupid shit, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, because Kubrick is also a wank. Like, I only like a few Kubrick movies. I like 2001. A lot of people don't like that movie. I like that movie. I like Doctor Strangelove. Fucking love that movie. I think that The Shining is really good, and I love Full Metal Jacket.
Shining is
Other than
great.
that, I don't really care about his movies.
We just talked about that the other night.
Yeah, we did. And I was saying the reason that The Shining works so well as a movie is because that book has a lot of visuals in it.
Yeah.
Because books usually don't translate well to movies because there's too much inner monologue and not enough visuals.
It depends on the book, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times the reason why adaptations don't work, and this is something I plan on actually doing a video about, is that a lot of times movie adaptations especially refuse to adapt what is special about the source material and are instead trying to take what is surface level about the source material that people feed off of and recognize and marrying it to a movie formula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You know what movie fucking totally missed like anything that the book was about was World War Z.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Yeah.
I read the book
Apparently, I'm
after.
not missing much because I've never seen it.
I read the book after, and I'm just like, oh wow, this is not even the same fucking story.
Nope.
Try
it's-
I Am Legend.
Not even the same format.
It should have been a
That's even
TV show
worse.
because at least each episode could have been a chapter of the
Yeah.
thing.
Well,
yeah.
I think it would have made a great, like, sort of like sci-fi channel pseudo documentary,
Mhm.
like reenactments of things that never happened.
Yeah.
But like for this future apocalypse thing, that would have been great. But as a dramatic film with big A-list stars like Brad Pitt, no, it's not going to happen.
I recommend the book on tape, the audiobook version of it, because you got some people like Henry Rollins voice in some of the parts from the book.
Oh.
The thing is, there's some chapters that are missing, like the Japanese chapter is totally missing, which I kind of like.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah. I guess they had to pick and choose, but like the Japanese one, if you guys remember, it was about the kid that was just a total introvert, just fucking indoors on the computer all the time. Yeah, and having to deal with being in a fucking apartment building.
And he was part of the first wave too because of China
Mhm.
in the books. Yeah, the book. And I lived with a guy who hit me to that book right when it came out, and he was obsessed with it.
What did you guys think of Magnolia?
I think it's a cheesy pile of crap.
Never saw it. I got nothing.
Crap.
Never saw it.
I think Paul W. Anderson or whatever the hell his name, Paul
Thomas Anderson.
Paul Thomas Anderson, that guy. Yeah, I think that There Will Be Blood is really great. Trying to think of anything else he's done.
I
Yeah, I
have
s-
this issue where I can't really remember the names of actors sometimes. I'll know what they're in, and I know the character, but not the.
Well, Magnolia stars Tom Cruise
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and Julianne Moore.
Yep.
Uh,
It's more than that. It stars a whole bunch of people.
yeah, like
I think
tons
Max
of
von Sydow's in it, I think, and a whole bunch of other people.
Seymour Philip Hoffman or whatever.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, it was a steaming pile of crap. Let's be honest. It got heralded as a pretty good movie, but it was nothing compared to There Will Be Blood.
I like There Will Be Blood, and I like The Master a lot. I think those two movies are fucking perfect and phenomenal. He did Punch Drunk Love, which I thought was okay.
I didn't like it.
I thought it was okay.
I think Adam Sandler ruined that movie.
Emily Watson is also is always amazing. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. Oh god, what is the name of it? It's Trixie, movie Trixie. It has Emily Watson. It has Nick Nolte playing a crooked politician, and he's fucking amazing in it, and a whole bunch of other people. It's super fucking charismatic movie. But Emily Watson's character, and this is not Emma Watson, this is Emily Watson, an older actress who's in her 20s and like the 1990s.
Yeah.
She played this security guard from Chicago with a speech impediment, and she gets reassigned to this rural Illinois casino town where she ends up solving a mystery that involves Nick Nolte as a crooked politician. And Nick Nolte's dialogue is absolutely bonkers and hilarious. It's some of the most amazing shit ever. I love it. What's all that noise going on here? Hold on a second.
I don't hear anything.
He muted. So there's a bunch of like big movies that people like rant about or whatever that I've never seen. I remember one girlfriend I had. She would always rant about what is it, Vanilla Sky or some shit like that.
Oh God!
Yeah, that was originally made in Spanish and then remade with Tom Cruise in English. Never watched either.
So she ranted so much about it that I didn't want to watch it.
I heard a cat.
I heard a cat too.
Yes, there's Beans here. Beans comes and yells at me all the time.
You're not missing anything by not watching it. Vanilla Skies, you're supposed to care about the main characters, but it's Tom Cruise and what is her name? Search of the Sea. Damn it. Blonde hair. Kill Bill. Not Uma Thurman. Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz, yeah.
Yeah.
That guy was real bad.
Yeah.
It's real bad.
You can't. You just don't care about them at all, and you're like, okay, well, I mean, you could just walk away from this whole situation, but you didn't.
What was the best pet movie and why is it Homeward Bound?
It kind of is. It kind of like Marley and Me can go fuck itself.
What about Milo and Otis though?
No.
Because we all know it's not a dog's purpose.
No.
Oh God! No.
I never watched either of those movies.
You are a horrible person.
We all know it's not.
Bring that here.
I'm evil, right?
It's definitely Milo and Otis is horrible because I learned that like tons of animals died to make that movie.
Well, isn't Milo and Otis the one that was actually a Japanese movie that had a really sad plot, and then they re-edited it to give it a hopeful plot in the U.S.?
Yeah, and also Japan didn't have the same animal welfare laws when it came to movies as it did in the United States. So they were like throwing cats off cliffs and shit.
Yeah, that sounds like Japan.
Everything for art.
Exactly. Or a fetish.
Let's kill old people for art.
A close second is Beethoven.
Never saw that either.
I'm glad you couldn't say that with a straight face.
Never saw that either.
What's wrong with Beethoven?
Beethoven 6 was amazing.
6?
Well, Beethoven was no Air Bud.
Oh,
and they did go up to 6 movies in Beethoven.
What's the one that has Jim Belushi with a dog playing a cop?
K9. Perfection. K9.
Oh man, I saw that one. That's one I've seen.
I'm gonna cry now. I'm gonna cry
Why the
now.
dog lives?
Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong one. Oh, I'm thinking of Turner and Hooch.
Yes, you are, and the dog still lives.
You know what?
But he got shot.
The only pet movie that I vividly remember.
Both movies, and they both live. Sorry.
The only pet movie that I vividly remember and that I actually love is Cat's Eye, which is fucking phenomenal.
Oh,
Cat's Eye is the shit.
See, my favorite pet movie was Cujo.
That's a decent movie. Both of them are horror movies.
Yeah.
And Cujo's very horrible.
Yeah.
What about
like you were not on the stream with us the other day because we were spanking Cujo very hard.
I didn't say it was a good movie. I said it was my favorite pet movie.
It wasn't a very good pet movie either.
Actually, probably my favorite pet movie of all time, and I'm putting it right out here right now. My favorite pet movie of all time, and this is totally an impulse vote on my part. A Boy and His Dog.
That's legit.
That movie is so fucking good, and it's so mean. It's so fucked up. So wrong.
Does the Fox and the Hound count?
No.
Yes.
Not really, because only the Hound is a pet.
Well, I guess
right.
Yeah.
It's more of an anthropomorphic animal movie, which I don't count as Yeah.
So you're talking more like Aristocats.
Yeah, that's more of an Aristocats thing, which I like.
Yeah.
Aristocats. It's one of the few Disney movies I actually like.
Well, it was funny because they were making fun of, real people.
I think you guys are forgetting one of the best animal movies, Russell Madness.
I never knew about it. You forget it.
That.
What
I
is,
didn't know enough to forget.
It's a Russell Terrier that's a wrestler.
oh my
Oh,
god. My dog's staring at me. Lulu, do you want
I
to
apparently do not watch enough animal movies.
You're not.
I honestly don't.
His manager's a monkey.
His manager is a monkey.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Man,
that seems like a Jewish stereotype to me.
Look at that.
I thought he was black.
Oh, he doesn't play by the rules either. Look at him. He's hair
Pulling
pulling.
hair.
Shit.
When you don't have opposable thumbs, what choice do you have?
It's either
Aw.
dick or hair.
Oh, well, that
Just
guy's
crack
got
up
beard.
if fucking Brock Lesnar just walks up. Fucking dog. Brock
Punt,
Lesnar doesn't give a
punt to
fuck.
the dog.
Yeah. Hey, there was a wrestler that used to punt babies, so it's just not far off.
Who's that?
What was it? Was it Snitsky or Heidenreich? No, I think it was Snitsky. Snitsky used to punt babies. And he used to say, it wasn't my fault.
Did he
That's
play Billie
amazing.
Jean in the background while he was punting babies?
He's just saving the world one baby at a time.
I'm not even joking. Hold on. Let me see. Here's a picture of him with a baby. I'm trying to find one of him. Oh, there you go.
Oh! That's awesome.
Wow.
I need more of that in
Yeah.
my life. Where are the animated GIFs? Oh, there's a pooch.
Oh yeah, bagel.
Bagel.
There you go. There's the gift.
Nice.
Professional wrestling gives us so many wonderful gifts.
It's the weirdest shit I think that ends up on
Anything
television.
but professional. It's definitely weird shit.
Since cable access isn't really a thing anymore, I think that it's the weirdest shit on television.
I'm sorry, I just miss the days of old WCW and WWF. WWE, WWF.
I stopped
When we
watching
used to
wrestling about 1989, and then I
Yeah,
watched
so
it
did
again
I.
in like 2010. So
I
like
was-
Well,
skipped a lot.
I jumped from 89 to 94 when WCW Nitro was on and shit. But I missed the old days when we were kids and everybody'd say, wrestling's fake. It's not fake! And
Yeah, I
we
never
used to be
thought
so
it wasn't
butthurt
fake.
about it.
I never thought it
well,
wasn't
you know,
fake.
If you
There
thought
were
that was
kids that
real,
were
you were slow.
and I was one of them that were just so, it's not fake! We'd get freaked out, and then years later we realized it was fake. But it actually takes skill not to kill yourself in the ring for being a dumbass.
I learned that. But when I was a kid, I never met any other kids who thought it was real. And
Yeah,
I
same here.
always heard about it as like kind of like a more of a television trope
Yeah.
than as an actual thing that people believe.
Like just
But
because
this
that's not
is-
the actual thing that's happening doesn't make it less impressive that dudes that big can do backflips.
Mhm.
This is what would happen with wrestling. Like, it would be like, no, it's fake, but there's actually one guy that goes in there for real. His name is Stone Cold Steve Austin. He just goes in there.
Ah!
Uh,
No, it was Sting in my day.
Sting. My favorite wrestler when I was a little kid was Jimmy the Superfly Snuka, because he would go off the top rope all the time. Off the
Isn't he
top
in jail
rope.
now, or is he dead?
He's
Is he
dead.
dead or-
He's dead.
Okay.
He did some
Unfortunately,
dirt too.
Jimmy
I heard.
Snuka passed away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I heard
it's
he did
something.
some dirt too. I heard he did some like bad rapey shit or something.
Oh, he killed the girlfriend and got away with it. Yeah.
Yeah, not
Well,
quite rape. Or
see,
beyond rape.
I've been a headbanger since I was like 5 years old. So for me, it was Mr. Skronk, Strucid, and everything else, the quote-unquote Ultimate Warrior. And my dad's like,
The Ultimate Warrior is
that's not
hilarious.
And that's what he said. He goes, "That's not real wrestling." I'm like, "What the fuck's wrestling?" You know, being from Iowa, if you know what wrestling is.
Oh, it's right. You're from Iowa. Oh my God, I got to make fun of you more.
Oh, fuck you. Where are you at again?
I'm in St. Paul, Minnesota, right near downtown. Right near downtown.
No, but
I
like
grew
Warrior
up in
because-
Minneapolis. The only cool parts of the Midwest are Chicago, St. Louis, and Minneapolis. Otherwise, the Midwest can go fucking
Dude,
blow
you're just
itself.
really funny, aren't you?
Yeah, the rest of it's
You're a
like
funny
corn and
fucker, aren't
bullshit.
you?
Nah, the rest of the Midwest is corn and bullshit.
Yep.
No, you just remember that corn and bullshit keeps you guys alive because you
No,
have
that's
jack
great.
shit.
I just don't want to hang out there.
Exactly.
I don't want.
I
just
don't want to
wanna
hang out here
there.
either, which is why I live in the Quad Cities.
Predominantly, most of that corn actually goes to animal feed too. So.
Like, I've been, like, there's some really great restaurants and places to visit in Iowa City and Des Moines and the Quad Cities and all these other places. But you know what? I don't want to be there for too long, like a night at maximum.
I don't think I can live anywhere where I can't go to Ross's restaurant and get a Magic Mountain whenever the fuck I feel like it.
I don't know what a Magic Mountain is. What is a Magic Mountain?
I'm going to Google that and screen share it because it's hard to describe.
But my favorite thing about Warrior was he would go on these fucking rants about going into space and shit. It's like,
Wasn't it a
For
big
normal.
thing that the Ultimate Warrior actually couldn't pull his punches and stuff properly? He didn't know how to do the basically the
didn't know.
performance stuff.
Yeah,
he
that was
just,
intentional.
I heard that people were pissed at him because he'd actually hit people.
You probably did.
he always had people. He also had a problem with losing. He would leave the company all the time because
Oh, yeah.
he wanted to be number one. So
Guaranteed.
He wanted
he
to be
always
the
did
hero.
that shit.
well, he
I
pretty much
didn't-
wanted to be Hulk Hogan.
I
But
didn't know anything
Ross's
about.
Restaurant, Bettendorf, Iowa. This place has what's called a Magic Mountain, which you see right here.
Is that
That looks like French fries.
French fries
It
with
is.
eggs or something on it?
No, it's French fries with cheese and everything else the fuck you want to put on top of it.
I
The
can do that
Magic
at
Mountain
home.
starts
Yeah,
out
I
with a
can-
couple
yeah.
pieces of Texas toast with regular ground beef meat, and then you French fries, hash browns on top of it, cheese sauce. You can put the volcano, which is spicy chili and onions and jalapenos and
I want something I can't make at home, which is like I don't know how they make the Moldavian meatballs at Russian Tea Time in Chicago. That's
No,
what I want.
the only reason I go to Ross's restaurant because my wife will not let me make that at home because she gets pissed.
Oh,
So
for Brian.
I'll go pay for it then.
oh, for Brian, am I alone in this? Sometimes I get tired in like restaurants where you go in and it's like, yeah, here's this thing that has a fucking shitload of everything on it, like a fucking sandwich that has 20 ingredients in it, and you're like, I'm
Why would
I
you
want-
assume?
yeah.
I want
Sometimes-
something that's got balanced flavor. I don't want something that's just got everything piled on it. I don't want
Yeah.
a poutine.
Here's a burger, right? We're gonna put an egg. We're gonna put an onion ring. We're gonna put what? We're gonna put 15 different cheeses on it. We're gonna put an entire head of lettuce. Right?
Iceberg lettuce.
No, so the night I went out for Queens of the Stone Age this last Saturday, afterwards I went to this place called the Dark Horse in downtown St. Paul, which is it's fucking phenomenal. Oh no, I didn't. I went to the Bulldog, still phenomenal. Not as phenomenal as the Dark Horse actually, but they got a better beer selection. Bulldog has a better beer selection. Anyways, I went there and I had a bison burger with
Yes.
just lettuce, tomato, Swiss cheese, and a little bit of barbecue sauce.
Bison burgers are the best.
Perfect.
Oh, but that's the best way. Like if you're gonna try a new meat, why would you want to interrupt that new meat with a
Exactly.
bunch of different fucking sauces?
Bunch
and
of
shit?
bullshit. Yeah.
Well, not
Yeah.
just that, but like when you get, let's say it's a gimmicky place where they sell you something that's fucking gigantic. Like if you can eat this whole burger, then you get the meal for free, right?
Or like the curse of these places, like things like the onion blossom,
Yeah.
bullshit
But-
like that.
Also, it gets really bland. Like usually you'll get it, and it's just bland as shit. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, of course I can't eat this. This is garbage. I want to throw this away.
All you're tasting is oil, fat, and salt for the most
Mhm.
part.
Not even
Hmm.
the salt. Where's the salt? Give me
some
some salt.
Some salt and pepper, like the two things that are on the fucking table when you serve it. You could at least put that.
Well, and a lot of this stuff too, like Brian will back me up on this. A lot of this shit too is made off of ingredients that are so terrible that they don't even have activator ingredients. Like they don't have enough tomatoes so that salt and pepper will actually activate the flavors. They don't have like enough onion, and they don't have it cooked in the right way. You want to do it either lightly fried, not super fried. You want to do it lightly fried or clarified. Like you want either of the ones, but you don't want these like greasy steak onions on everything. Greasy steak onions are great for fucking steak, but they're not great for everything. So it's like you get these places where they don't understand that you have to do these things, and what they're really doing is they're trying to mix up their inventory as much as possible.
Yeah.
So they don't have to pay for anything.
I don't know how many of you guys have worked in restaurants, but never order the soup or the pasta.
Depends. I've worked at a bunch of places where we make soup from scratch, or made when I worked there from scratch. Amazing stuff. Beer cheese soup, where we'd fucking pour a whole can of Guinness into the soup and then melted the cheese down from bricks ourselves and put ham in it and all other stuff. Potato skins that we peeled ourselves. That was fucking amazing.
Brian, you know what I fucking hate? Forget the soup, forget the pasta. I hate desserts in most restaurants because it's just something that is fucking just you could get it in the freezer fucking aisle at your
you get better shit at the deli in your grocery store.
Exactly. In fact, a lot of the time, I worked for multiple restaurants here in this city before I started doing what I'm doing now, and
in the California area.
Yeah, and.
Third biggest economy in the world, but yeah.
And like some of these private places that are supposed to be really nice, they would literally just order their pies or cakes or whatever off of the Rayleigh's shopping little thing that you can turn in, and they go pick up, and that would be their dessert, and they put like some whipped cream on top or a little bit of they make their own vanilla sauce.
One thing that made me really angry when I was at a restaurant once, I ordered like blueberry pancakes, and I swear to God, they sent it out to me, not with like blueberry compote on top, like what is normal, but I think it might have been pie filling. Just like
canned pie filling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like, no, you put this shit in a pie, not on my pancakes.
Yeah. Don't even put it in a pie. Don't even do that. Don't do that.
Do you guys know what Uno's, Chicago Uno's is?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have one of those in my city, and when it first came in, this was like, I don't know, 10, 15, no, 10,
what is
years
it?
ago.
What is it?
It's a restaurant that sells like deep dish pizzas, and they're supposed to be, you would consider them like Chili's.
They are the Chili's
restaurant. Yeah,
they are the Chili's of Chicago deep dish pizza.
So I had just gotten out of culinary arts school, and I got a job there, and they're like, "Yeah, you're gonna be head of the kitchen and everything." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" And I get in there, and they're like, "Okay, this is how you make all the things on the menu." And there's a big microwave, and all of these things come in packages.
And I was about to say,
like, "Oh, I can't do this. I quit. I left."
I was about to say, and Uno's is garbage because everything is frozen and microwaved.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So the first pizza restaurant I worked at was Old Chicago. I was actually the first restaurant I worked at. Period was Old Chicago, and it was a chain, but it was also like really amazing. We made our pizzas in a 2-tier conveyor oven, where the bottom tier was 5 minutes for thin crust pizza, and the top tier was 10 minutes for deep dish pizza. And we had the fucking clamps with the giant metal fucking pan, and we had to do it all right. It was fucking amazing. The pizza there was fucking great. Too bad most of those places have gone out of business, but
Go ahead, failure.
No, I'm just saying I hate the idea of Uno. There's a fucking pizzeria chain in Florida. I think it's called El Rey or some shit like that. I don't know, but I don't know. Some
Cubano pizza, man.
Ray's Pizza or some shit like that. I don't know. But so it's open 24 hours. Pizzas are usually like $5 or whatever. And so like the first time I ever went in there, I was like, all right, give me a pepperoni pizza, right? The fucking pizza is, like a fucking thick pizza. and they fucking bring it to me, and it has one pepperoni on top. I'm like,
What?
Seriously,
What?
one pepperoni on the entire pizza.
yeah, I have
No.
one pepperoni on top, and they're like, oh no, the pepperoni's on the inside. And I was like, that's fucking this is
Bullshit.
fucking that.
So,
Bullshit.
failure. I lived in Miami Beach for 4 years.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know exactly the place that you're talking about, and it is always gross. It's the type of place that has like an oil slick on top of the pizza.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like Little Caesars?
Yeah, I was like, we were talking about like Little Caesars. If you fold it in
I-
half and put it
I
over
will-
a cup, you're gonna get like half a cup of grease.
I will eat
Here.
Little Caesars more than I'll eat Pizza Hut, though.
Here's a perfect example of what I was talking. Look it.
Oh my god.
You fucking kidding me?
No, both of the pizza joints is both of the mush mouth that I talk is blah blah blah. Trying to word sentences thing.
Words in English, word something.
Yeah. So both of the pizza places that I worked at, the way we would do it is we would take these pepperoni slices and we would cover the entire top of the pizza after putting the marinara on, and then we'd put the cheese on. So you have this layer, just this
Nice.
fucking thick layer of meat right underneath the cheese. And after the cheese melted, you'd see it revealed. You'd see all the meat revealed underneath the
Yum.
cheese. It was really good.
Now that's
Hey.
Peter Piper pizza bullshit.
What are you talking about?
You know,
That's a chain out in Arizona. I was talking to somebody about when we were talking about the pizzas. He was describing that's how that greasy shit type pizza behaves with the cheese. You see through the cheese.
That
and
was
shit.
me again.
No, you weren't at Peter Piper Pizza. We were talking to what's his face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
the thing is every pizza you have in like I've ate at several places in Chicago where it's like Chicago style pizza and they're supposed to be the best joints. You see the same thing where they put the layer of meat and then the cheese melts over it and you see the meat peeking up through it. It's not like translucent. You actually see it melt so that when the meat, because the meat when it cooks it shrinks a little bit. It loses moisture. You see it start peeking up and start moving its formation. You start seeing the corners come up on the pepperonis and or the edges, I should say, because they're round. And then they peek up through the cheese as the cheese is melting down into the rest of the sauce. And it's
I'm
good.
hungry now.
Well, and
And I
also,
already had dinner.
it completely
You know-
depends. Go ahead.
in New York, there was a thing where you would put cold cheese on your pizza. And
Yeah, you were
I
saying
guess,
something
like,
about that once.
Hmm.
a lot of hipsters are doing it now, and I've seen like pictures of it. Like here's an example of fucking like they put on the cheese too fucking thick.
But isn't it supposed to just be put on there to melt?
Yeah, it's supposed to kind of be more like this, except they I think the hipsters fucking heard about it and now they're just trying to fucking replicate it and they're doing it.
That's because they can't do shit for themselves.
Poorly
They have no
replicated.
original ideas.
But
Well,
yeah,
and they're
cold
obsessed
cheese
with
pizza-
authenticity in so much as they can import it into their already pre-existing commercial culture.
Oh yeah, like to the point where they'll put two girls out of business because they don't like where they got their fucking burrito recipe.
But did you see the
you
burritos?
actually went to Mexico.
Right? Don't you think that would be the most hipster thing in
Ma
the world?
burrito.
Yeah, no, yeah, you'd think that would be like something super hip. So no, but no, cultural appropriation.
Well, and also if you saw what they were actually cooking, like I read the article and then I went to their restaurant menu that they still had up, and their burritos were like, really Americanized. I'm like, you did not get this from Mexico. You thought, let's add some chipotle sauce and we'll have a sriracha burrito, and it was definitely not authentic.
Yeah,
Well,
that sounds.
here's the thing about hipster SJW fucks is in their own house they don't have a personal identity. Everything's from fucking everywhere else. Like,
Yeah. See, that's
So it's
that's
like-
the best thing about being in the Quad Cities is, as I've said to people, we have a nice mixture of folk. We have white, black, Asian, and Mexican or Latino. And my fucking neighbors, they will fucking make tamales, and they're actually old school Mexican family, recipes. And then I throw the spices on because if you really know anything about Mexican food, it's not
Not
spicy.
spicy. Nope, it's not.
Very
I grew
bland.
up in the ghetto, and one of the families that lived next to me for about 4 years when I was living in the housing projects was a big 9-person Mexican family. I go eat there all the time. The food that my mom made, who's from northern Minnesota, Midwest, super white chick, would make more spicy food on a regular basis, more paprika, more red pepper, more cayenne in our food, especially when she's cooking fish, than my next door neighbors from Mexico would do.
You know what I find funny is in New York, Puerto Ricans, for some reason, they love having Asian decoration inside their house.
What?
Yeah. And
Puerto Ricans have been there for like 70 years, so I don't know.
Yeah. But they have like just random Asian, like something they bought from a fucking Chinese restaurant, and they just put it on their fucking wall. I don't get it, but I've seen it before in multiple fucking houses.
That's very interesting.
That's really strange because that's not a thing here.
Yeah.
But I suppose, like, you know, like where I grew up, like I grew up with mostly black people in my neighborhood, some Latino people and some white people, and everyone had everyone else's culture in their houses.
Yeah.
Like everyone.
And nobody
did.
bitched about it, did they?
Yeah, no one did. It was fine. And the neighborhood I live in right now is mostly Hmong, Muslim, and Latino. Like, I'm one of the only white people that lives here. Because I live right next to the Capitol. I live a 10-minute walk from the Capitol building. And most of the markets around here are either Latino or they're Hmong and Chinese and Korean. But the biggest market here is a big Hmong market called Huanghe, and it's really fucking amazing. I fucking love going there because you can get like
cool.
You get fresh fish. You can get all kinds of crazy stuff there. Stuff that's flown in from the coast. It's one of the only places where you can get that outside of going to some of the more expensive sushi places. But yeah, like it's really great. But the thing you don't get is people talking to each other as much as like what it was like in the 80s. Like people
No
are
shit, that's an understatement, buddy.
Nowadays. Like,
because everybody's fucking paranoid.
Yeah, I grew up in as much of a mixed neighborhood as I did. Like, I live now in a neighborhood that is just as mixed as the one I grew up in. But the people's attitudes now are like they look at you and then they look at their shoes. Yep. Whereas when I was a kid, and I thinking about it, like I talked to my mom about it, and she was like, "Yeah, you're right. This is how it is." Because my mom, like, she moved in with us. She lives on the second floor of our house, and like she walks through our neighborhood and stuff, and she's like, "Yeah, it's way different than when it was in the 80s in the neighborhoods we lived in the North Side." It's really strange because it's like people are really afraid to go outside of their communities, their little micro sub communities. It's really weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
I grew up in a Black and Puerto Rican neighborhood, and I found it odd so many times to have elder Black people like talking to me, like giving me life advice, and a lot of times it was like "fuck Whitey."
Hold on, I gotta say something. Pat, I recognize you, Pat. I know who you are, Pat.
There's also the loss of communication overall, that people don't look each other in the eye these days. And when I do it, everybody thinks I'm trying to stare them down, and it's kind of like, no, that's how I was raised, dude. And it's not so much a person's skin tone, it's their mentality, because the younger kids, they're thinking you're trying to start shit with them. It's like, no, you little shithead. When I was raised, how I was raised, everybody looked at everybody in the eye. We didn't give a shit what you were wearing. He goes, well, I think you're trying to stare me down. I said, I don't give a fuck what you think, kid. I'm going to look at you. And then I really start staring them down. And then automatically their brain switches over. Oh, okay, so now you're looking at me and talking to me and having a conversation. And it's kind of like, what?
The thing is, before when you were out, you had to like socialize because you didn't have fucking anything else to do, right?
You schedule your fucking phone calls. Hey, I think I'm going to be home between 3:30 and 5:30.
Yeah, leave a message.
Phone call.
But now you can be stuck in your fucking phone and shit, so you don't need to have anybody else to socialize because you have your socialization in your fucking pocket.
And look how much that backfires on them.
When I was growing up, we had the town I grew up in was actually pretty culturally diverse. We had like a lot of Filipino people, a lot of Indian people, and a ton of Japanese people in this town. For whatever reason, every Japanese person that comes to freaking Cook County ends up in Schaumburg, Illinois. And I don't know why, but there's a giant market called Mitsuwa. And
I've been there.
Yes,
I've been there.
It's fucking great. Did you go to the
it's in western suburbs of Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of great restaurants there. Traffic is terrible. Don't drive.
Traffic is fucking awful. You can actually take the train. So yeah, but inside Mitsuwa is a food court. It's like a legit grocery store / mall. And there's like a food court, and one of the stalls there used to be called Kabuto Burger. And so it's basically a Japanese burger joint. They took American hamburgers and they mixed it with Japanese fixings.
So you get like teriyaki beef and all this stuff in a burger.
Yes, it's a teriyaki beef burger.
Did you ever get a teriyaki octopus burger?
No, they only did beef, but that does sound good though.
I've had the what is the way they fry it? I studied Japanese.
Tempura.
Tempura. I've had tempura octopus. The first time I had octopus was tempura octopus with the fucking body and everything, and it was sliced so that it came out from the center in a spiral. It was really crazy.
But my point is that recently, when their lease came back up to re-rent the space, people complained that Kabuto Burger shouldn't be there because that's Japanese cultural appropriation, despite the fact that it's in a fucking Japanese market.
Probably owned and run by Japanese people.
You betcha.
Oh Jesus!
So they opened their own store and they're making a killing.
Good for them.
Yeah. So they have a freestanding store now. Seriously. Well, I mean, the Japanese people that ran the mall.
There's people that fucking do it, like even in our own little circles on Twitter the other day, because of the whole Opal thing. Vamp was going back and forth with Opal and some guy that was in the comments like, "Oh, have these guys never heard of Steam?" Blah blah. So Vamp gives her.
I saw that thread.
Yeah, Vamp gives her a recipe for like an actual decent fucking dumpling recipe, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy was like, "I would rather go to a Chinese restaurant," and then
go
Vamp was
because
like,
you'll be here.
This is actually a Chinese woman giving the recipe.
Yes. But it's funny how even people inside of our, circle of whatever the fuck this is, jump the gun and are like, no, I'd rather have the authentic thing. I'd rather.
I'm not even being ironic here. Like, I don't feel like I'm inside of some circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I really way disagree with too many fucking people on shit to be inside of anything.
Everybody be like Kabuto Burger.
For one thing, I'm too much of an old school 1980s melting pot liberal to be involved with a lot of what, like the Trump apologists who are like, yeah, I don't like Trump, but I'm not going to say anything bad about him because of the New York Times or whatever. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Trump's a bad president. He just is. Why can't you just call a spade, God damn it?
That's exactly what I called Obama, and everybody's like, "You're a racist." I said, "Go fuck
yourself."
yourself."
Obama was a bad president.
And I said to them, "Go fuck yourself. I'm from the '80s. I don't give a shit." And they're like, "Oh, okay."
The 2011 NDAA should be enough to call, from a liberal perspective, from a hardcore liberal perspective, the 2011 NDAA, which was approved by Barack Obama, should be enough to call him a bad president by any liberal.
By any human. By
any human with a conscience.
Every president is bad. Trump, Obama, Bush definitely fucking bad.
Oh yeah,
Clinton had shit.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There hasn't actually been a president in our country who wasn't pre-bought and sold by Wall Street and other, like the military-industrial complex, etc. Since Carter.
I actually have an uncle that's
since Carter left office. There's not been a real president, as far as I'm concerned.
I actually have an uncle who says Bush is the best president we've had in recent years, and I'm just like, you're lying to yourself.
George W. Bush?
Which one?
W.
The one that barfs on Asian men, or
Herbert Walker Bush was an intelligent president, and I think he was not a bad leader for what he was doing. I don't agree with what he wanted to do. I don't agree with what he did for the most part, but I don't think he was bad, and a lot of that had to do with his tenure at the CIA and all these other fucking connections.
I was going to say, he's straight up deep state, ran for president.
He's super deep state.
Okay.
He might be the only deep state president we've ever had.
No, he's not.
Yeah, because I meant he who dodges shoes.
What's this?
George W.
Another word.
I don't know.
I remember Daddy.
Junior.
I remember with Daddy Bush. I remember when I was a kid, the first rant about how fucking shitty a president was from my uncle, and he was like, he's gonna fuck over my job at General Motors, and he survived to retire, but everybody else around him was fucking getting laid off because fucking
they were less essential than your uncle.
Yeah.
Does anybody know the significance of the shoes?
Much time in.
Does anybody know the significance of the shoes? Because at the time that happened,
I
had a Muslim friend, and she told me the significance of why that wasn't just a funny thing.
Yeah,
That was actually-
I don't. You're gonna have to dial me back all the way on it happening. What is this? What is this shoes thing?
He was speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. You go.
Oh, there was a reporter, and while George W. Bush was speaking, I think he was Iranian. He was in Iran, and the reporter took off both of his shoes and chucked them at George W. Bush. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, his reflexes were on point.
Yeah, they were pretty on point.
Oh yeah, he got hit in the head with the shoes. Yeah.
No, he did. No, he did
dodged
not get hit.
He dodged it. Okay.
But I love all the memes that came out from it. One of them was people throwing Pokeballs and dodging.
Wow, that's hilarious.
The significance of that is in that country and several other countries in the Middle East, to infer that somebody is somehow underneath your foot or like the bottom of your shoe is basically the equivalent of calling them the N-word.
I sort of remember this now.
Yeah.
You're a slave. You're a slave.
Yeah.
I remember all the
you're a shit heel.
I remember all the
check the side chat people.
Slice memes.
Yes,
No.
side chat. Yep.
And here's the YouTube video post for it.
Yeah.
I'll look at that later.
No, I'm just saying for in general.
I sort of remember this. I didn't have the internet from about 2006 until 2012, 11,
Jesus
something like that.
Christ.
It
Wow.
was all over the news. It was like a big thing on.
Yeah.
I didn't have that too. I didn't watch television. I didn't have access to the internet for that whole time.
So you lived a great life.
I lived an
until
amazing
2012.
life. I was getting all of my social activity through going to punk shows. And
There's a couple of presidential moments that I crack up at. One of them during the Obama thing was when his fucking his presidential limo ride, whatever, got fucking stuck. The Beast. It was, I think it was in the UK. Yeah, and it fucking like just got stuck. It went and I guess the clearance was too fucking high or low or whatever. And
Do you know what that
got
was?
stuck under something.
Do you really know what that was? That was the modern equivalent of Ford falling on his butt.
Oh man!
But,
You're bringing up
but
some old
Ford
history,
had more
Jesus.
grace about it.
Mhm.
I'm 42. I remember a lot of shit. But Gerald Ford had more grace about it. He realized, hey, I blundered. Obama got a little bit pissy.
You're only a year older than me, man, and I scarcely remember Gerald Ford being on television ever.
Well, do you know why I know what I know is because my parents were not baby boomers. They were from the silent generation.
Oh, so your parents are dead.
No, my parents are still alive and well. They're 76 and 77.
Okay, you know who died today? Just gonna put this out there. You know who died today?
Yes.
Fucking Mr. Leahy died
Yes.
Who is that guy?
from Trailer Park Boys.
I've never watched Trailer Park Boys.
I
Go
never
home.
even heard of it.
Go home. Go home. Stop it. Go home.
Go home. It's my street. You go home.
Tell me to go.
You
I'm
are home.
pissed. Don't give a shit. I was like, what the fuck
We're
are you
all
talking
home.
about?
No, Mr. Leahy.
We are
If
all
you've
home.
never watched Trailer Park Boys, he's my favorite part of Trailer Park Boys. He's probably one of the most celebrated things about that show. He was the alcoholic trailer park supervisor for most of the series. And he had some of the best dialogue, some of the best dramatic arcs. He was the best actor on there, and it was a comedy show. Made by brilliant people. I fucking loved it. But
So you're saying it's like Rick and Morty?
no, I mean this
Christ, I hope not.
Trailer Park Boys have been around since like 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have
it's
like
been
8
around for a
seasons or
while.
something.
Huh?
They have like 8 seasons or something, right?
More than that.
Oh wow!
Plus they have they have 3 movies. Plus there's the SwearNet movie, which is the actors playing themselves as though the Trailer Park Boys are also real.
Oh Jesus.
It's
see.
really insane and it's funny.
Mm.
It's hilarious because they make fun of themselves. They make fun of like because they're basically Canadian rock stars, which is a pathetic term to hear, but it's true.
Yeah.
Canadian hyphen anything, probably a bad situation.
It's like
But-
B movie. They're the B movie of the world.
But
Jesus,
Trailer Park
that's
Boys is really
terrible.
great, and it's really funny.
Oh, check out the stuff.
Oh, so it got stuck from below, so it didn't have clearance on the hump.
Oh, it's too low.
Yeah.
That's still funny.
That's because those fuckers are bulletproof. It's like twice as heavy as a regular limo.
You know how you get around that? 8
Mm.
positions. That's how you get around that.
Yeah.
You need 8 positions.
I actually walked past a scene where somebody's lowrider got stuck on a speed bump.
Really? That's hilarious.
I didn't realize that if you have a car like that, you gotta plan your route.
Why
Yeah.
is that shit always comic gold and we least suspect it?
I know.
You got all those hydraulics. Why aren't you fucking rocking it high too? I mean, come on. That's what it used to be, at least.
I don't think he
Yeah.
had it. I think it was just a lowrider.
Mm. Oh, he didn't actually have the hydraulics. Just had
Yeah.
it dropped. He said, "See, that's a."
I think
fake."
hydraulics are like illegal in some states now.
Yeah, they're
Got it.
questionably legal here. You can only really have them at car shows.
Mm,
I was
sad.
gonna say here they do the car shows, and they'll take a truck and they'll cut the bed out of the back and everything. They'll lower it down to like half an inch. It'll be riding on airbags, and you're just like, oh, you've made this thing completely useless. You can't do anything with it.
It's the high fashion of cars.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
I just love how people would make fun of what I drive, and yet they're fucking getting stuck on fucking roads and shit because they don't know how to fucking plan a route.
What are you driving?
Right.
A grocery getter or something?
No, I drive a Ford Taurus. It's
Also-
it's a basic sedan. You know, it's a regular car.
Yep. A boring car.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a regular
You know-
boring car for a dad who has to travel to Iowa City occasionally for work.
I think I've got you beat.
Oh.
I own. I say this with disgrace in my heart. A Toyota Prius.
Oh,
No.
Jesus Christ.
No, but
So there's one cool thing about a Toyota Prius.
gas mileage.
Well, the gas mileage is pretty awesome, but I'm gonna say the one cool thing about it, actually, you know, the Cooper Mini that we have, which corners like a fucking dream, is it's as good gas mileage as the Toyota Prius that came out the same year, 2010.
Yeah.
Or 2010 or 9, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it gets about 40 miles to the gallon.
Oh, see, I get like
Yeah,
55.
you can't. That
Yeah, but-
if you're
yeah,
going
but-
on long trips, that's pure win-win.
Yep.
hmm
The Cooper Mini is fucking amazing, and it's way roomier than you think it'd be too. You know, my wife's 6'3", 335-pound brother can sit in the driver's seat of the fucking Mini and
Now,
actually corner
are
shit.
they designed like the original English ones where you actually sit on your ass and your feet are forward?
You sit on your ass and your feet are forward, but it's actually got a wider wheelbase than the original British ones because they
Okay.
can't have that narrow of a wheelbase in the United States.
hmm
But the thing I was going to say is that the Toyota Prius looks like you're inside of some hokey kind of Star Trek vehicle. It looks like you're in a Star Trek Next Generation away vehicle. You're sitting in
You're
the front
trying
seat.
to avoid the lens flare of the J.J. Abrams era in your future.
No, it's more of the straight up next gen
Please
vibe.
no.
It's more of the next gen vibe.
J.J. Abrams.
I like to call it the Enterprise.
Ah!
It's a runabout.
Yeah, it is.
It's really weird though, because it's like I didn't realize like how much is in front of you. Like you can't actually like stretch your arms out and reach all the way to the exhaust ports for the air conditioning and
Nope.
stuff. It's really far ahead of you. Like the dashboard is really crazy big, and it's just like this big ominous technical looking thing. It's really
Yeah,
fun.
like if you get hit in the front of that car, you're definitely getting crushed to death.
Yeah, it's gonna pancake real hard.
Exactly. That engine
See,
weighs 2,000 pounds.
See, that's what I like about my Ford Taurus. I mean, it's just a car. People make fun of it, like, yeah, but it's a Ford Taurus SE, and I'm not getting the 99% more speeding tickets like you are from being a speedster, you jackass on Interstate 80, because I fucking used the cruise control, and everyone's like, my car comes with that?
You know what?
Exactly.
I have traveled across almost the entirety of the United States except for the upper east part of the United States. And in the Cooper Mini, we have cruise control, we have all that stuff. It's fucking fine.
And that's the best thing I love about my car is cruise control.
But we could also do things like it's a manual, so like we can go full fucking cornering, hot stick it, and fucking whip around like fucking crazy. It's awesome.
Do you guys ever remember the Geo trackers?
I remember the Geo Metros. You could run those into the fucking ground.
Okay.
I
Guys.
knew at a Metro, and he literally
Guys.
Thorn.
Listen to the dog. No, but seriously though, I gotta go.
Oh. So we're closing it up.
Yeah, I wanted to end at 10:30 anyway, so we're past a little bit.
10:30.
Yeah,
What's wrong with you?
I gotta go to work tomorrow.
she's got to work. She got a bit of a cold.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, I feel like
And her whoopie's not feeling too well.
No, and Doggy's not feeling well either, so like everybody's sick.
Don't tell Andre I said whoopee.
I won't. All right, thank you for coming, guys.
Thanks for having me on.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thug life.
Good night,
Good
all.
life. Boop.